All right, folks. Gonna have to bear with me. And haven't done this one before. Um, so welcome to our live show. If you can let me know, can you hear me or whatever? If not, we're in a lot of trouble because I have no idea how to fix this. Any of the times that I did like the live matches, where I was actually streaming through another app, so I wasn't actually in via YouTube. So maybe not. Um, anyway, see here. Only code. No, so you can ask any questions you want. Just ask everyone to keep it reasonable. Don't want to start any rows or anything. Although I'm sure there's some of you there. That's exactly what you want. Give me a second now. So this. Um. So yeah, if you could just let me know in the chat if you're actually able to hear me, or does it look like I'm just miming away here? Um. Yes. Thank you, Shane. Thanks everyone. Okay. Championship overview. Jesus, I'm not going to be here for the next week. Championship overview this year. I think it was a bit mixed. So got off to a rocky enough start where like I think everyone was a bit fed up by the time it actually started. Like we were probably about 3 or 4 weeks later starting than usual, and then we obviously ended a little bit later. But apart from that, numbers of her entries for everything apart from senior ladies and intermediate ladies was quite high, especially like junior mixed. That that just seems to be growing into an awful behemoth altogether. So like it actually wouldn't surprise me if we end up with like a junior B in the next year or two. I'm not sure. There was a bit of a review session on Tuesday evening looking at things going forward. So I wasn't in attendance at that, but I wouldn't be surprised if they end up going that route. And they might go to like a provincial series. Kind of can't see that happening for another couple of years because I think while you'll probably have some areas where you'd be able to do it, you might not be able to do it everywhere. So I don't know. Hard to know. Apart from that, standard and everything, probably one of the better years. I would think. Um, I know, say like our own club, we probably had a record number of injuries, myself included. But no, I think the standard overall was quite good. Like we ended up with two extremely competitive finals, and then the third not as much so. I don't know if everyone would agree with me on that, but like the standard of rounders, like the base level of it, is definitely getting higher. Um, the top end is probably kind of roughly the same as what it has been, much and muchness, but like definitely the lower tier is getting so much better. Like you used to go along to some games that wouldn't even be just beginners, and like it would be very very difficult to watch. Whereas like a lot of the junior and intermediate games that I saw this year, they were competitive, they were fast flowing, so it's actually great to see. How do I get better at bowling? Okay, so to get better at pitching, it's actually very simple. You have to practice it, and there's no way out of that. Um, if you're doing a training session once a week and you're going to be bowling to some batters for half an hour of that, like practicing something for half an hour in a week is not going to move the needle an awful lot. You really just have to, I'm not going to say sit down, but you have to get out there, practice in your own time and actually work on it. Like at the end of the day, you're only going, people get it in their minds that it's this really difficult thing to do because as soon as there's someone standing there with a bat, they're like, oh God, it's all this. Like all it is throwing a ball anywhere between 9 and 12 meters in a straight line. And like most people, if there was a player standing there and you just wanted them to throw the ball into their hands, they're able to do it. So why should it be any different? Like if you get 5 attempts to throw a ball into someone's hands, you should be able to do it 3 times, no matter what your level is. So pitching is no different. So it's really just a bit of a mental block. Um, so yeah, get out there, practice it, go up against the wall, everything else. Uh, any equipment, training facilities, or activities you'd recommend to improve your overall game? Okay. Uh, yeah, like I think everyone, at a bare minimum should probably have like an indoor facility with nets and pitch machine. No. Um, so I think the most basic thing that everybody should probably invest in, well, definitely at a club level. So obviously you've got your mandatory bats, helmets, sliotards, everything else. A bat and tee. There's an awful lot of people out there that are not like their swing is not compatible with the game. It's like, oh, I'm able to. I tried it for the first time and I hit the ball really well, and then the next 10 times I didn't hit it, and then a lot of people like would blame the bat or whatever else. It's like just practice your swing. Like you don't need to be practicing your swing against a team of 9 and someone throwing the ball in trying where their objective is for you not to hit it. A bat and tee and practice hitting off the tee. Like I've seen like in my own club, experienced players and everyone struggle to hit a ball off a tee that's not moving. And they think, oh, this is really tricky. It's like it's not. It's just a little bit of hand-eye coordination. It should be the most simple thing ever. But like if you're going to struggle hitting a ball off a tee, you're really going to struggle over the course of a season with different pitchers and different pitches coming in. But sorry, Dylan, I'll get you in 1 second. Activities then, well, other than practice. Like practice doesn't mean you need to be going out and training like hell for leather 5 nights a week or anything. Like just could be practicing throwing a ball against the wall. You're practicing your technique. You're practicing catching it, tennis ball, getting a bounce, your reactions, hand-eye coordination. The more practice you do, the better you get. The better you get, the more you enjoy it, and the more you enjoy it, the better you get. So, okay, Dylan, just one question for me, if that's okay. The home box, are two players from the same team allowed in that at the one time during the game? I've heard a few people saying the rule has changed. Okay, so the rule used to be there could not be two players in the box. If there was, the run couldn't score. So the rule has now changed that the batter cannot be still in the box while a runner comes in. So if it's bases loaded and the batter hits the ball out, and you have someone really fast on 2 and someone slow on 3, and the batter takes off, and the runners on second and third end up in the box at the same time, so long as nobody passes someone out and they tag the base, the run is allowed. However, if the batter stays in the box, then nobody else can score. So the batter has to actually leave home base. Hopefully that explains it. So like I think some people are still think because there is a condition where two people can't be in the box, one of them being the batter, that they think, oh, we can't have two in it. No, it's just that the batter can't be there. Um, Mostly there is distraction. Like they're there with the bat. Like, do we know if the play is happening or not? And all these runners coming in. So if you are going and the batter's standing there, tell them to get out. Better off with the score than if someone's going to be out. You may as well be the batter and get the score than people running home and a batter still in. Okay, Packy, are there teams you saw a ref this year? Did any surprise you for good or bad? That sounds like a loaded question. Um, yes and no. Like there were plays and stuff that surprised me. Like at underage the other day, like I saw a triple play, which like did surprise me. And not for good. It really shouldn't be happening. But it's just like complete miscommunication, bit of a meltdown. Now one team was great that they were actually able to turn a triple play and get 3 outs in one go, but like things like that, ideally we don't see. Where it's not like baseball or softball where you're forced to run. Um, but did any specific teams stand out? I don't know. Like I think a lot of teams kind of performed roughly to their level out of the games that I've seen. Like I can't think of any that like one team had an absolute collapse or that like played way above their level and had a massive upset. Like I think like most games were competitive, and then one team is going to be able to edge out the other. Maybe I'm missing some really obvious examples, but being put on the spot like this, I'm not sure. Um, okay, thanks for clarifying. I was confused on it, but maybe some people are. Okay, well, hopefully that answers the question on it anyway. On the two people in the box rule. Let's see, did I miss anything else? Packy, I'm gonna be thinking about that one for like the duration of all this. Like, was if there was anything that surprised me. Um, yeah, no, I don't think so. Unless like if anyone here has anything they want to point out that it's like, oh well, here's something that you should have expected or not expected that happened. Like I don't think like you think of all the winners that we had in all the different grades. Like I don't think anyone would have said at the start of the year, oh, such and such a team hasn't a hope of winning it or anything like that. Like again, you could have a favorite in a game and one team, you know, beats the favorite, but like I don't think there was any like, oh well, they haven't a hope before they even start. Kieran, who's the best player to ever play in the game in your opinion? Okay, right. So I've answered this question a few times on different things. Obviously, it depends on the position, but like all positions, all everything, being combined. And I'm probably being very biased here, but someone from my own club. So for me, Damien McArdle from Earn Eagles is the best player that I've ever seen play. Like he's just, well, he's obviously retired now, but like when he was playing, like I remember years going by, like 2-3 years, where I did not see him get out. Like I mean once. Like I think I had been playing for a while before I remember like it'd be like he might have left the box or something and somebody else didn't, or something like that where he got out. Like he was such an intelligent batter. Um not like a home run hitter or anything, like not a huge hitter, but like left-handed batter, able to switch it left and right. And to be honest, like most teams, there was just nothing you could do to stop him. Um like probably not the batter you want coming up if you're like, okay, well, we're the tricky part of the order here. We need to just get out of this in and bring in the runs and end it. But like, if you wanted someone that was good, able to go base by base and have someone else up after them, 100% he was the man wanted up to bat every single time. And then his fielding, like I think Damien's fielding kind of speaks for itself. Like so many titles, so many all stars in a couple of different positions, but definitely a catcher, like left-handed throw, never had to move, and he was always because he was picking it up and turning with his left. He was never trying to throw over the runner. Sometimes you see, like on a right-handed catcher, by the time they pick up the ball, they're like directly behind the runner, so they're nearly having to either lob it over them or try and put it through them. But yeah, without a shadow of a doubt, Damien's the best player overall. I could probably go through different positions, and you know, I'm sure lots of people would disagree with me on different positions, but yeah, overall. What's your opinion on a lot of players being stuck in their ways with cross grip? Is it worth changing hands or leave them with what they know? Okay. So there is nothing inherently wrong with doing the hurling grip, the cross grip. It's not ideal. I think any player will not be the maximum level of batter that they could possibly be if they have the cross grip. Now that doesn't mean that they still can't be an extremely effective batter. They could be the best batter in the country with a cross grip. But if they took the time to swap it around and put in the work, they would be even better. So like see people say, oh well, such and such, they're fantastic and they do it like that. So it's fine. And my reply to that is like, yeah, but imagine how good they could be. We obviously get a lot of that in the sport with people coming from camogie and hurling where they want the shorter swing, and there is this kind of misconception like in those sports that that gives you more power or more control or anything, and it's just not true. Like if it was, we would see professional sports people like golfers, baseballers, etc. they will be using that. Like if there was even 1% or half a percent of an increase with it, but like it's not the case. What it does is it actually shortens your swing, so you're less likely to get hooked from behind. You get the ball away quicker. But like when you're batting, you really want to maximize your swing, maximize your control. So yeah. Eh, any advice on improving your throwing accuracy? Practice. I know that's kind of a silly one, but practice and breaking down your technique. So like an awful lot of people don't like record themselves. And I know that sounds silly or whatever, but like one of the best things you can do is record yourself, put it in slow motion, and then just watch. What is your body doing? Are your feet moving? Are you just flying open with your upper body trying to throw with your arm? Are you actually using your full body and getting momentum in the correct direction with the ball? Like you'll see some people and they'll go to throw a ball and they'll start here and throw straight forward. Very hard to get any accuracy because your body's trying to turn this way and you're trying to throw the ball forward. Whereas if you can turn sideways, you work with the natural movement of your body. So like it's obviously going to be harder to throw more accurately or have more control when you're fighting against what your body is naturally going to do. So yeah, like front facing throwing is just like for overarm is really not helpful. For underarm, it's a different story because the motion, your body is moving in that straightforward direction. So like front facing is absolutely fine. But like for any overarm throw or sidearm throw or anything, you know, you're gonna have to be side on. And then, then it's just about breaking down the different parts of it. So, get down on one knee and practice that little bit of separation with your shoulders and your hips. Again, a lot of people probably aren't doing it. They're just like, oh, I'll go out and I'll throw 20 balls. And sure, if 15 of them are good, and then the next day maybe 16 of them are good, yes, that can help. But like if you really, really want to get down to, okay, well, if I throw 100, I want 99 of them to be good. You have to really look at your technique, not just the end result of it. Hopefully that helps. How would you rank positions in order of importance? Any opinions on the best way to set a batting order? Um, well, if you ask 20 different people, you're going to get 20 different answers on this. Um, so, assuming that all players are, above average here. So, in that case, like obviously it depends. Like if you have a team where you know you don't have a half decent bowler, you're obviously going to say, oh well, bowler's the most important because that's where we're lacking. Or if you have a bowler and they're brilliant and you don't have a catcher that's able to help them, you're going to be biased to think, oh well, catcher's most important. But everything being equal, um, I would probably say shortstop would be first. Um, Shortstop, center outfield, or left outfield. They're kind of interchangeable. Depends on the level you're playing. At underage, definitely left outfield before center. Then at adult level, center seems to be kind of taking a little bit more. So yeah, shortstop, left outfield, pitcher probably third, catcher fourth. Um, then first base, yeah, then center, three, one, two, and right. Probably what I'd go with. Like it really depends, where you getting your outs. So like I always say, like, you need to set up your team like personnel wise and everything. How are we going to get outs? There's no point. Oh well, they do there, they do there, they do there. It's like, okay, so how are you going to get the outs? Oh well, we'll catch them. It's like, well, is your bowler set up that they're able to get them to hit the ball up to get caught? Or do you have a really fast bowler who they're not going to hit? It's like, well, if they're not going to hit the bowler, there's no point in playing three fantastic outfielders if you don't have other positions because they're not going to hit it. So it's not going to go out to them. But like if you don't, maybe you need one of them in a catcher because they're not hitting it, but the catcher's not stopping it. So, you need to be able to generate outs. Uh, Second part of that, any opinions on the best way to set a batting order? Okay, so batting order, again, most things being equal, you're going to want one ear faster, more reliable people as your first batter. Your first batter job is get on base. It's going to set the tone of the whole team. They're going to bat the most often. So you're going to tend to have one of your better, faster, and more reliable batters up first. Um, as a general rule, I'd recommend not having a left-handed batter at first, unless they're very adept at switching the ball, because they're going to be hit naturally. A left-handed batter is going to be hitting the ball somewhere between first and second. That's where you're running to. Probably not where you want the ball to go. Then second batter, you know, you, in an ideal world, we've got our batter on one. We're trying to keep the ball away from second. So a batter that is able to keep the ball away from second, and so on and so forth. It's why you'll see a lot of teams that'll have a left-handed batter at third, maybe at seven, and possibly nine if they have it. But it's just by the natural progression of having, say, your first two batters get on, your third batter being a left-handed batter, they're going to tend to hit the ball between first and second, which is away from where the lead runner is trying to go on third. And then say the real old school style, which it's not outdated, but it's been around a long time, of your fourth batter and your eighth batter are big batters, because we basically 2 cycles of 4. So if you can get your batters 1, 2, and 3 on base, fourth batter, okay, your job is smash the ball out, bring in the runs. If you get out while bringing in 2 runs, I think most teams would probably agree that that's a pretty nice return. Obviously, you'd rather bring in 2 runs without getting it out, but if for every out you get, you're getting 2 runs, in a 15-out game, you've scored 30. You are going to win. Simple as that. You mentioned you can go through the different positions, say who some of the best players are, but in your opinion, who would you think is the best batter, pitcher, and best at catching now? Probably depends what you value in a batter. Do you want someone who is always going to get on base? Yes, but how do you value that with someone? Okay, well, they're great at getting themselves on base, but they're not great at getting somebody else. Um, you know, it's not a straightforward question, but let me think. So batters that can basically do it all. Even thinking of the senior finals. So, in the ladies, Grania Gaffin batted very well in the ladies. Maybe didn't play so well in other games coming up, but she definitely showed up on that day. In the men's, Colin Kieran batted very well, but probably doesn't have that firepower to really go into the best batter in the country for me. Then to be honest, and I know I'm probably being biased here, I put Shane Shorten up there. I think he got on base every time in the final. He is capable of home runs. There's not too many batters out there that are literally able to do it all. Um, you know, like, and he's fast. Eddie used to be in that. Eddie used to be really fast, able to switch the ball everywhere. Eddie, just with injuries, whatever, and age, Eddie's probably dropped down from that elite tier down to the next one for me. Chris used to be another one. Be able massive switches and stuff. Always tricky. All time, Rory Tracy for me would have been one of the best batters that I've ever seen. Just really hard to get out. In his good years, and then still that bit of power to be able to punish you if you were trying to squeeze the gaps. Best pitcher. Well, I think based off the year that it was, Barry Lamb was fantastic in the men's final. Especially when it came to that last inning or two, he just kind of upped it an extra level. Then on the ladies' side, probably a bit of a tie, but you could almost say a 3-way tie between the Brave England Maritime bowlers. I will say our ladies definitely really struggled against Emma in the group. She was just unplayable, and then obviously unfortunate for her that she went down with injury in the semi-final, and then Michelle bowled really, really well in the final. But I'd say just out of the games that I saw, and I will say I didn't see an awful lot of games, so if say, oh well, such and such an hour club was brilliant, it probably were. I didn't see it, but yeah, that game where Our ladies played Glenbarn, and like she kind of left them coming off the field thinking, like, what are we supposed to do? Like that was just impossible. There was nothing like they went up and the speed of the ball and the control. They felt like they could do nothing. And sometimes like because like it's such a head game that like if a pitcher makes you feel like you're struggling, then they're really really winning. Even if they're not doing anything extraordinary, if you just feel that they've got your number, it's going to be a very very hard day for a batter. Best at catching. I don't know if you mean catching like the position or like the skill. So maybe you can let me know which one you mean. Shane, first base, most important without a doubt. Yeah, yeah, definitely Shane. Um, Probably a little bit of bias coming in there. Sometimes you put someone on first base that like they can catch a ball but they don't know how to throw it. Just saying. Um, and then catcher is most important. See, the catcher and bowler thing is kind of funny in that if you have a really, really like if you've like the best catcher ever, like and they can do absolutely everything. If you don't have a bowler that's good enough to make them like to show off their skills, they're kind of irrelevant. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Because I have seen teams like where, the catcher might have two plays in the whole game and they're fantastic. And you're like, they are brilliant. But the pitcher isn't actually able to get enough out of them. So like while you could be the best catcher out there, you might not be the best player at catcher. If that makes sense. Like if you're a fantastic catcher and every batter is hitting every single ball and you don't get a play, well, like, can you really say that they're the best catcher? Just good for thought. And then, same the other way. Like as I said, like if you've a fantastic pitcher, but like the catcher's not stopping anything, it's like, well, they might be great, but like all they have to go is actually I'll just not even swing. Can't catch the last one, goes flying out behind, and they get a double every time. Um, what was the best match of the season for you, either played or watched? I see. I don't really rank games in that sense. Like, um, like there were lots of good games. Nothing that overly stands out in my mind. Like there might be like a performance, like what I was saying about Emma there with her pitching, and then like say Barry at the end of the final. But there was nothing that was like, oh, this is the be all and end all. Um, then again, I'm such a critic. Like you could have a fantastic game and everyone say like that was perfect, and I'll say, well, actually, there was about 5 or 6 or 7 different things that I wasn't happy with. So like probably I'm probably not the person to ask on that. If you ask me about a specific game that I saw, I can give my thoughts, but like I don't know what I could say would be the best game that I saw all season. Where are we? Any advice on how to adapt between fast and slower pitching as people can be more used to one rather than the other? Um, I think practice. Like if you've done the practice with your swing, it's all about timing. So like I mean, the ball, no matter how fast or how slow it is, if it's a good ball, it still has to come over the mat between your knee and your shoulder. If Sorry, yeah. So like if you've done the work on your swing, like you should be able to cope with either. So then it might just be a matter of okay, well, uh, it's coming in slower, so I'm going to go half a step further up because I want to meet the ball at a certain point. Sorry, there's a fly here. But like just practicing being at the front, being at the back. It's all about reaction time. So like if they're a fast bowler, the reason people stand back is to give themselves more time to react to the ball or to give them time to swing the bat. So like you could always just shorten the length of the bat, like choke up a little bit if you're struggling with faster pitching, rather than having to move your position in the box. Like if you're happy with where you stand, and then with slower, you know, just don't be standing at the back, don't be letting that ball drop. So, but like just get some practice from the two. Um, so someone asked earlier about like some equipment. So you can get these pitching nets where it's just like a basic net with a small hole in it for you to throw the ball through. So again, it's a great investment for every club really to get. So you're not relying on burning your pitcher out, but like you can practice just tossing the ball up, and whoever's behind it, even if they're not able to pitch, they're able to throw a ball in, and then people can practice just hitting away at slower or faster pitches. So you're kind of simulating it. If you could change any rule in the current game, what would it be and why? So this is going to be very nuanced, but as a bowler, I really like the idea of what they do in baseball, where if you swing, it's a good ball or a strike. Um, and I know that sounds like horrible, probably for an awful lot of batters, but like as a pitcher, one of the best things you can do is make them swing on a bad ball. So like if they hit it, they're more likely to foul it out or give a catch to the catcher or pop it up. So like if you can maximize that by it's like, okay, well, you see some people and they're swinging at a ball and then the referee calls it bad and they're like, oh yeah, grand. It's like, well, you know, they thought it was good enough to swing on. And then I think you also get rid of some of the like I hate seeing it, especially at underage, just because of the habits that they get into. So like a ball coming in and they swing for it and then turn around and stare at the ref, and like if the referee calls goes like, oh, what were you doing? That was bad. It's like, well, if it was so bad that you're giving out about it, why did you swing? So I don't know. I just think like it would be very interesting for a lot of pitchers and a lot of catchers if that was brought in. Do. Cooper up there. Not sure. Not sure what that's in relation to. James from the Dubs 2 for placement. Sinead, any rules you change if it was to you? Oh yeah, so that would be my main one. What's the best game you've ever witnessed? Uh, well, I've seen a few. I remember I can't remember all the details because I was young enough, but like said like one that I wasn't involved in was uh, the Heat Lime Killing final, and I was there with Dimpna, and she was there like kind of talking to some of the line killing players, like saying like you've got this. All you have to do is you know go up there and yeah. Sorry, I just wouldn't be here without Dimpna, and yeah, just made me think of her. Let's see, games that I was involved in. Oh, I could probably write a book. 2021 mixed semi final. Like for me, that's always going to be there because like while I'm on a field, I will never say a game is over or you know. But that game, I remember saying to some of the guys in the sideline, I was like, this game is over. We were, what was it, 16-2 down, 16-1 down after two innings, and we came back and won it. So like if it was like say 15-2, we ended up winning 16-15, I think. But 15-1 down. Yeah. So just for that, like I actually like as I said, I never give up a game ever. But like I really thought that one was over. And like until the game was over, I did not think that we had any hope of actually winning it. Where are we? Well, skill catching, not the position. Mainly who's not going to drop any balls thrown or hit them. I say there's a pretty long list. Like I'd say most clubs should have. Well, at senior, you'd hope that there's 9 on every team plus whatever's on the bench. Um, like I'd always say, like at adult level, okay, maybe juniors a little. If they're new teams or like really inexperienced, but like any team trying to compete for an All Ireland senior, intermediate, even at junior, it's like if a ball is hit up in the air, like just assume that it's caught. So that's why like we tell people like if you hit a ball up in the air, run because there's a good chance they're going to catch it. Like if they drop it, you were lucky. It's not. Oh well, you were right not to run because then on your next hit you did this. No, it was pure luck. The ball's in the air, going to be caught. Um, when it comes to bats, the size and material make a difference. Yes, 100% it does. How much of a difference it makes, that's going to be different between me and you. And everyone's going to have their opinion. Uh, like I think having the right bat definitely will make a difference. Like it'll make maybe 5-10% of a difference. So like if you're a very very top player, really good at batting, really good at everything, 5% can make a difference. It can get you over the line. It could be like, oh well, it was the difference in we were we were one run shy of being able to make a semi-final. Okay, well, if everyone's using the perfect bats and everything for them, I'm not saying the most expensive but I'm just saying the most ideal bat for them, that can be the difference to get you that little bit over the line. However, if you're starting off and you're a really bad batter or just a really inexperienced batter, giving someone the best bat in the world, whatever that might be, isn't going to make a huge difference. See on Instagram where like all these baseball coaches and they're all talking about the amount of money that's spent and everything else, and there's something that's like, well, a $500 bat isn't going to fix a $50 swing, and like it's so true. Like on the material, like if it's going to be composite, some sort of metal or wood, entirely up to yourself. Personally, I don't like swinging a metal bat because I don't like the sound, and I know that is petty, and that has nothing to do with. It's like, oh well, you're just saying that, and you actually think this. No, I just really don't like the sound. Like there was a while where there was an awful lot of those Slashiner bats, the ones you get in like Eaton's and Sports Direct. They were around in a lot of teams, even just refereeing them, and I'd see them walking up, and I'd be like, I actually hope they don't hit the ball here because it just sounded like a church bell going off. Um, but yeah, no, like there is no, oh, here's the best length and weight and material for it to be. What do you think of the idea of having a knockout championship FA Cup style with senior and intermediate entering at the second round? It could be really good or it could be really, really bad. There's no, like, the more quality games we get in the sport, the more visible it is, the better. I don't know, like, realistically speaking, having something, if you do it for 5 years, you'll probably become really good towards the end. But like you kind of have to expect like the first year or two, there's going to be loads of teething problems and probably not great. And what's the buy-in going to be? Like, our team's going to take it serious? Is it going to be okay? Well, we're going to enter it, but we're the fringe players. We want to let them have a go. Like all those things are really what's going to come into it. But like in an ideal world where every team's putting out their best players, and you can go along and watch these fantastic matches more often in the year. That's a win-win. So it really just depends how it's done. Who do you think will win each All-Star this year? Not a clue, and that's not a short answer. So like the way the All-Stars are being done, you know, without seeing all the games, you've actually no idea. Well, I don't think of who's going to get it. Because like I would suspect that you'll probably get like 5, 6 correct in your guesses, but that'd be it. Like I don't even think the way it is guaranteed to get you your best 9 players. And that's not taken away from anyone, but I think just so like if it's based off outs and stats. So say if I'm playing left outfield and Kieran here is playing center. So like if I'm getting I could be the best left outfield in the country and he's the best center. But if I'm getting loads of the outs, that means he can't get them. So obviously that gives me a better chance, but it also means that even though he's great, he's just not getting the outs because I'm getting them. He's not going to get the chance to win, or well, sorry, he still has a chance, but he's less likely to win the All-Star for his position because mathematically he's just not getting the balls. He's just not getting the number of outs because I'm taking them on him. And then we've got another team with the opposite scenario where center is taking loads and left isn't getting them. So that works out really well for the players in those positions that are getting loads of outs. And then you end up with, like, say your balanced team. Say like everyone on the team is playing really well. You're winning loads of games. Everyone's chipping in with 2 or 3 outs. So you're probably going to get a load of nominations, but like, does it mean it probably means that everyone has kind of cannibalized everyone's stats so that the numbers at the end of the day are not going to be significant for a lot of the players to actually win the All-Star. Not sure if that makes sense, but like, I think you could say, oh, well, I think these 3 people are definitely going to get it because they're by far the best players. It's like, but like if you go through their games, where the ball's going to them, or like again, just for example, Kieran's in center, and I think he's definitely the best center that I've seen. But I've seen another game or 2 games where everyone keeps hitting the ball to center outfield because center outfield keeps dropping it. So center outfield is dropping loads of balls, so they're not better than Kieran in this example. But because everyone keeps hitting it to them, they're eventually going to get the outs. So they could finish the match with 10 outs. And on paper, that's fantastic. You know, that's all-star level. But if 30 balls were hit to them and they caught 10 outs, it's like, well, their stats reflect, the good side of it. It doesn't show the other. So, sorry, probably sounds like a bit of a cop out into guessing who the All Stars are, but I don't know. That's just, I think it's just too hard to tell. We'll come back. Thoughts on championship starting and finishing earlier? Um, I've no issues with the championship starting either earlier or later. My biggest gripe, will say, would be is the length of the championship. It's like from day one to day finish. So say we were out for 20 weeks, okay, to play 10 matches. You know, it's a bit stop start. Like, there's periods, in the last couple of years where like teams are, you've got, a game 1 week, a game another, and then you're off for 5 or 6 weeks. It really kind of kills the momentum. Not just like obviously at the club level, like it's kind of hard to motivate players and keep people interested, but like just in the championship as a whole, people kind of lose a bit of interest, and then you try to revamp it for like the semifinals and finals, and people are like, oh, just you know. Whereas I think if it was a bit more, game after game after game, people would probably have a little bit more interest and more build up into it. Yeah, like obviously the earlier in the year that you start, the worse the weather is. The later in the year that you finish, the worse the weather is. Like I think, had the season finished a month earlier, just the way that it worked out with the fantastic weather, I think you would have had serious numbers at all the finals. Like I don't think they were particularly bad this year, but like I think it was maybe 1,000, somewhere between 800 and 1,000 between all the finals, like between junior, intermediate, and senior. Whereas I think like had all those finals been slightly earlier, just with the weather, probably would have been a lot more. Now, obviously, Irish weather, you can't guarantee anything. What's kept you going interested in the sport all these years? A mixture of I love the sport and pure ignorance. Um, Look, rounders for me is just like it is my sport. You'll see some people and they're interested in soccer or Gaelic or hurling or whatever it is. For me, that's rounders. Like I would rather go and watch an under 12 rounders match than like a junior football match. It's just the way I am. It's like no slight no slight on anything, but I just love rounders. Um, right. Hopefully, I didn't miss any questions there. Let me just scroll up. This is my first time ever doing anything live like this, so I'm not used to the format whatsoever. No, I think I got everyone. Well, if anyone else has any other questions, we might try and wrap this up before 9, or if everyone's fed up, probably better things to be doing on their Thursday nights. Listen to me drone on and on about rounders. Now you just kind of have an idea what my club mates and everyone feels like having to listen to me the whole time. Is there any bat that you would prefer above any other? Uh, well, yes, but I'm not really sure how to answer that. So like, um, so I will tend to lean towards a slow pitch softball bat, just because like I like a 34-inch bat. I like that kind of 25 to 27 range of weights of bats, and like pre-injury I was playing a fair bit of softball, so I was kind of getting used to the weight of the bat that I was using for softball, so that I was like, well, if I'm using it for one and I'm able to use it the other, the more comfortable I am with a bat, the better I'm going to be with it. Actually, some of them here. So for years I used this Adidas bat. Wrong way around. Um, so I used the one piece composite, but with a 12-inch barrel, and it's quite heavy. I think there's about 3 or 4 of them in the country now. Well, like in rounders teams, like don't know outside of that. Um, but like I find even at this stage I still find it a bit heavy, and that's 26 ounce. Some people are using 27s, and like I don't know how to swing them. I really don't. Have a baseball bat here as well. It's an absolute lump. I won't even say I swing it. It swings me anytime I'm messing around. 3330, just far too heavy and metal. Don't like the sound of it. Just can't stand it. Here's one of the softball bats then that I would have been using a fair bit. So Anarchy. So it's a 26 ounce, 34-inch bat. Like it's just more kind of middle of the pack. Like that's 26 ounce slow pitch softball bat. Now I like this particular one just because it's got a nice thin handle. That's personal preference. You'll see some people they like really thick chunky grips. They'll actually put like 2 grips on. But anyway, that's what I use. Haven't really done a whole lot with fast pitch softball bats just because like they're very expensive. Like I've tried a couple of them and they're lovely, but like haven't actually got one that would suit me. I have one actually. So I have one here, but unfortunately, I'm not sure if you can see. Absolutely cracked and busted, so didn't last too long. But probably a little bit too light for me. Like I know you'd say, oh well, a lighter bat means you can swing faster and hit faster pitching, but like it was just a little bit too light for me. What would you suggest to do over the winter to be more prepared for the start of next season? How long do you have? Um, okay, well, I think the first thing you'd have to do is like sit down and think, well, what do we want to achieve next year? Are you talking about teams? Are you talking about players? Like, okay, well, here's where we were short, or here's where me as a player. It's like, okay, well, I really struggled doing this. It's like, okay, that's what I'm going to work on. So, it's like, okay, well, I was really good. I was batting quite well. I was throwing well. I was feeling well, but I was just too slow going to base. Okay, I need to work on getting faster. I need to practice. And some people say, oh, well, you're either fast or you're not. You can train an awful lot of this. Like, it's a 25-meter sprint between bases or 20 for kids. Like the fastest and the slowest person going, there's not going to be more than 2 seconds in the difference. Like some people are lightning quick around the bases, but again, from point to point, it's not going to be a huge difference. But you can still practice it. But yeah, like if it's your throwing, like what we're saying about or asking about, throwing accurately, you don't need to be out on a pitch with your teammates to do that. Go inside into a hall. Like if you have a club room, you could do it in a dressing room. Break down what do you need to work on. Like what if I watch a video of myself and like look, there's loads of resources out there between. Like I know I put up a few bits, but like most stuff I'm just sharing, like the baseball stuff. Like they've put hundreds of millions into this, so like just use their research. And like okay, well here's what they think it should look like. Okay, well what's mine like? Oh, it's nothing like it. Like okay, well it's not the same, so it's probably not going to be exactly the same, but it's probably going to be pretty close. Being a right-handed batter, is there a specific way to hit the ball over first base? So hitting the ball anywhere. It's all about timing. So it's basically, right, let me get my bat here. So the ball is going to go wherever the barrel is facing when I hit it. So if I'm looking straight up at the pitcher here and I hit the ball like this, it's going to go up the middle towards second. If I hit it towards third or first. So it's about timing when do I meet the ball. I tend to say to people, it's like, okay, well, if you want to, as a right-handed batter, if you want to hit it up by first, meet the ball a little bit later, so that when the bat hits the ball, it's not flush, coming in and heading off in a direction. The the worst thing that I think you can possibly do is this kind of moving your feet and twisting your back towards the pitcher. Like for a couple of reasons. First of all, if you have your back towards the pitcher, how are you going to hit the ball? Like it's hard enough to hit the ball when you want to with both eyes on it. If you're trying to like twist around that you're kind of half looking, you're just making life hard for yourself. And then the other thing is, even if you're able to do that, if you're doing that to switch it over by first, like you do it once, well, like or maybe not even once, every other team is going to go, oh, here's what they're trying to do. Get ready for it. So you want to be able to not be predictable. That's one of the better things you can have as a batter. It's like okay, well, I'd say like if I get up to bat, I'd love people go, okay, well, he can hit there and there. He's probably going to go there. But like, if I step up and you know that I'm going to hit the ball straight down at third base every single time, all you have to do is put somebody there, and suddenly it's like, okay, well, my life got a hell of a lot harder. Um, okay. Would you ever think of doing a podcast, be it weekly or whatever, covering most games, leagues? Might need help, but would it be something you could do? Uh, so like, it's very hard to kind of cover a lot of the games because people don't watch the games. So like, would I talk about each game if I was there to be able to talk about it? Like I streamed some of the games there and did a bit of commentary, kind of just to let you know what was happening because I wasn't sure if you could see what was. Look, the camera quality of my phone isn't great. Wouldn't mind doing it, but like I think it sounds better than what it realistically could be. Myself and Ronan used to do one. I think we mostly did it like on Facebook talking about different things, and it's kind of more interviews, I suppose, rather than talking about the game and leagues. But look, I'd never say never, Jonathan. What's your advice to teams moving up in the grades, junior to inter to senior? The gap seems very big in some codes. More training, more challenge matches, find better players. Yeah, yeah, just scrap all the players that got you there and start again. So I I, I don't think there's an answer. It's like, okay, well, if you do this when you step up, it's going to make everything good. Like, I think you're going to have to accept it's going to be tough. Like, if you go up and you do extremely well at the next level, that's fantastic, but it shouldn't be expected. Like, there's a lot of teams out there that they've done really well and they've never even seen the next level. So, like, first thing I'd say, watch some of the games, like watch the senior finals, like for the last couple of years, and watch what's actually happening. I actually had someone reach out to me saying that like they'd never really seen a senior game, and they couldn't believe like how low scoring it was, and how much emphasis there was on like distracting play away from a base. So like I think what they kind of meant was, say like with runners on 1 and 2, that everyone's trying to keep the ball away from 3. They're not just like, oh, well, go up and hit the ball and get yourself on base. It's like no, some like a lot of time it's worth me getting out and sacrificing myself to get the runners into like the position where they can score. At least that's kind of what I took from it. But just to see that level of thought and tactics, like as I was saying, at a level like if the ball's hit up into the air, it's most likely caught. It should be caught. Like if you as you go up to the next grade, it's like, well, that's more likely to happen. Like you'll see like some teams that can kind of get into bad habits because like, okay, well, they got away with it. Like Cormac McMahon, good friend of mine, played with screen for a while, and like in intermediate, he was hitting home runs for fun. Like I think he was like maybe 20 home runs a season. And then when he came up to senior, like he knew kind of what to expect, but he didn't realize it was going to be quite as ruthless. It's like, okay, this guy's able to hit big. Everyone just took an extra step back, and they're like, okay, they're able to hit big, and there's a good chance they're going to try and hit big. So now we're ready for it. So it's not very effective. Like as I was saying, like the last thing you want to do is be predictable. Um, but yeah, that's all I can say. Like watch games, see what it's at, and then maybe have a think about, okay, well, what's our strengths? Like where are we strong? Where are we weak? Um, like at the very start, I was talking about setting your team up to get outs. Like, are you set up to get outs, or how are you set up to get outs? Hopefully that answers your question. As I said, like there's no, okay, well, if you do this, this, and this, you're sorted and you will dominate at the next level up. But more challenge matches are okay. Like I don't think they do any harm, but like I don't think they're the be all and end all because it depends. A bit like I was saying about that FA Cup thing. It's like, well, how serious are teams taking it? Like, are you really going to go hell for leather in a challenge match? In an ideal world, you would be, but you know, not always. Which team should seniors be looking out for as they rise up the ranks? Uh, well, like this year we have going into senior, we have referees in the men's. Um, ladies was the Heat. So I don't I think we need to be, wary of everybody. Like the standard is growing. Like as I was saying, like that base level is definitely getting higher. Like I know, say like at senior level this year, like Raheem struggled, but like when Raheem put out their full teams, like they were strong. So like even though a team is going like just because a team is going to lose 5 or 6 games, it doesn't mean they're not going to be competitive. Like you could lose 5 or 6 games and run every game really close. Um, then to be honest, I didn't really see a whole lot of the junior games, but like I think because the standard and intermediate is growing, that by the time some of those junior teams make it up as far as senior, they're going to be so much better because like I think probably like 3 year. I don't know if people agree with me, but like 3 or 4 years ago, the level in intermediate wasn't a patch on what it is at the minute. Like, it was a bit of a cakewalk for some people. It's like, okay, well, if you had someone who didn't give 10 walks a game and you could hit a ball, you're probably going to have a good chance of winning a load of games. Like that, obviously, if you can't do those things, you're going to struggle. But like, I think it takes a lot more than that now to win at that level. Which team would you like to see return to the sport? Oh, so many of them. The one that really encouraged me was there's like it seems well, bit of underage activity happening with Clare Castle. I'd love to see them back, just because like I think, especially in that area, like there's a couple of Limerick teams that are you know they're building slowly and it's growing there, but like just to get like a pedigree team like Clare Castle with that history, like I'd love to see them back. Not sure if you covered this area. Can feet position pre-pitch movement of the feet through your bat and help or hinder accuracy where you're intended to hit the ball? Um, so like I was saying about not moving your feet, trying to switch the ball. So like, okay, if you move your foot and like step into the ball, you're going to generate momentum. So like, more momentum you have, in theory, the harder you hit the ball. But like you'll see anyone like if someone tries like a Happy Gilmore type swing, it's like, well, if they hit it, it will go a bloody mile. But what's your chances of actually hitting it? So what's more important, hitting the ball, as hard or as far as you possibly can, or an effective hit, you know, um, then can it affect where you're intended to hit the ball? Sometimes, like moving your feet helps with that timing, and then just ends up helping the barrel of the bat. But like it really comes down to like where's the barrel of the bat facing. So it's like, well, oh well, if I move my feet, I hit the ball over there. It's like, well, actually, if you recorded yourself and see where's the bat as you hit that ball, it's like, okay, now that you know where your endpoint is, can we work backwards? So can we do all that without telegraphing with our feet what we're trying to do with the ball? Um, Hopefully that answers your question. Um, right, guys, that's nearly an hour. Any other questions? Rapid fire. I'll not drone on and on. Um, by the way, I hope you actually got something out of this. That it wasn't an absolute waste of time or boring. Kieran's looking next year. Who just Lincoln are pretty good. Not sure, not sure what the question there really is. Thank you. Fun in chat, not play around just a minute. Do you have any words of advice for them to get people? Well, sorry, let me read that again. If anyone in the chat does not play rounders at the moment, do you have any words? Oh, I think he's just talking to people in the chat. But like, for any teams or clubs recruiting, like, just get out there. Like, there's loads of people that want to play a sport. Like even like in our own area, like the amount of people that we've picked up, kind of like it's probably around my own age, like early to mid 30s, where they're like, oh yeah, I'd like to do a little bit of sport, but I'm not sure how much I want to commit, whatever. Get them in the door, see what the appetite is, and then the more people see of your club and the more that they see, are people enjoying it, what's happening, like, oh, what's going over there? Can I give it a go? And then you rope them in. But like, definitely like recruit, get onto like there's lots of people is stepping away from sport for any amount of reasons. Maybe like they've fallen in love with that particular sport, or maybe they just they've moved areas and they don't know what to do. Like There's loads of people out there like use everything. I am saying it like that man is a troll. But there you go. Um, but yeah, no, like one last question. You've seen all the trophies over the years. Which one was the best looking? Oh, I think the fruit basket that used to be for the minor men's. It was definitely the worst. Um, Here, look again. I'm going to be super biased. I'm going to say, the Tempner Cup. Um, so like, people can scoff at that all they want, but like, obviously, it's a new cup, has her name on it. You know, that's going to be the best looking of them all for me. Salad dish. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Wait, Hugh Briar used to call it the fruit basket. So, um, awful, awful looking thing. Fritz Romano news. Thoughts on a change to the transfer season? Not, not really sure what you mean. Change to the transfer season. Is it changing? So the GA one is like, which obviously we're a part of. It's like January to the end of February. I'm not sure if it's the last day of February or like sometime around then. So if you were if it were to open up for longer like that, no, I wouldn't be a fan of changing it. Well, like no different than like soccer. Like I don't like the idea that there's a transfer window open after games have happened. But like say for GA, like I think like there is an option there for people who wish to transfer and you know like be organized. Like what are we saying? Like wait until, oh well, we're after losing our first two games of the season. I know we're gonna lose, so I'm gonna jump ship and join somebody else. No, no thanks. Who was the best hit of a ball furthest that you've ever seen? I best power hitter. Myself. No, 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 no. I'm gonna have to put James Kavanagh up there. James had a serious hit of a ball. Now, there were ways to work around him to, take that away. But like, if he was allowed to hit the ball, he would absolutely crush it. Um, then I'm trying to think on the ladies' side. Grania had a nice big hit in the final for the ladies. Um, Hugh Briardy's reported return to the game. But there's another huge batter. Hugh, uh, Cahill. Yeah, Cahill's a big hitter. Good hitter. Wouldn't have him near the bigger hitters though. Like what he has to his advantage is he very very quick, so he can maximize the distance of his hit. Like how good is it being able to hit the ball 150 meters if you're quite slow and you're not going to get to third base by the time the ball comes back in. Like Call would definitely be up there, but like again compared to like a James, no, James was just like it was like a catapult taken off. Again, if he got a hold of the ball, it was gone. Like there was no, he didn't even have to check. Um, Message retracted. It probably needs to be pushed out another month now, end of March, depending on the start of the season. Yeah, well, like I don't know. Maybe I'm being a stickler. Just like let's just stick with the GA because especially anyone in like in one club model or something, bit tricky. But I think I think we probably like as an organization, GA Rounders needs to be a little bit more organized. You know, like you see some counties have their fixtures almost done for next year. Like the intercounty ones are obviously way out, but like the quicker we get to know, okay, well here's what's happening, everyone can plan a bit more accordingly. So it shouldn't really affect it, but I suppose who knows. Right, seems to be a bit of a domestic happening here, so I might just let them have that themselves. Right, guys, I'm gonna head on. So, and thanks a million for tuning in. Sure, we might do one of these again in the future, some stage, or talk about different games. I'm not sure on the winter leagues and stuff that are happening, but I've had one or two kind of reach out, seeing if we could do something like kind of recording some of the games or having them up or something. But so I don't know if that'll be the next bigger thing that we do. Do have a few things in the pipeline that we're kind of asking around, see if we can, if people are interested in doing. But yeah, anyway, guys, thanks a million and take care.